Today we're going to be working on a 1999 Dodge Ram. It's got the 5.9 liter Magnum engine in it. Today we're going to be changing out the Serpentine Belt, the two idler pulleys on the other side, and the fan clutch back in there. Mostly because it's got a bad squeak, and the fan, I'll pick it up here, let's see, it's got motion down in the main bearing down in there. And pretty significant wobble to it. So we're going to replace all that today with all this stuff. We got two new idler pulleys, Serpentine Belt, and a new fan clutch, which is smaller than the original one. It was cheaper too, so see how it goes. Feels pretty decent. So yeah, we're going to be replacing all this today. Just stay with me. Alright, the tools you're going to be needing for this project is a 13, 14, and 15 millimeter wrench, also a 36 millimeter wrench. And if you don't have that, you can use a pipe wrench or a long adjustable wrench, about 20 inches long. Also, don't forget the hammer, and if you feel like it, you can also use a little bit of Loctite on these fan bolts here and here and here and all the way around. Alright, so let's get into this. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is going to want to take either an open-end wrench or an adjustable wrench like this one. You're going to look straight down in there, see that big nut there, get it down on it, make sure it's locked in place, and then you're going to take a hammer and knock the end of that thing across. That's going to go towards the outside of the vehicle on the passenger side. I already busted this one loose earlier, just wanted to demonstrate to you how you do it. And then once it comes loose, you should be able to just spin it off with your hands. This has got some rust buildup. So this is two techniques you can use: an adjustable wrench like this one, or you can use an open-end wrench like this one to sit on it. It's a 36 millimeter. Sit it on there and do the same thing, just knock it across. If you don't have those two, you can always use pipe wrench, stick it on there, make sure it's tight, and then just do the same thing, knock it off. There's a few different methods. They have a special tool to take these off at the shops. It's got a rod connected to like an open-end wrench, and you hook it to your air hammer, and it sits on there, and you just air hammer it off. But yeah, those techniques usually work pretty good. And also, don't take any of the belt stuff off yet. Leave your belt on there, just so you have the tension from the belt to hold the clutch in place while you're hammering on it. Once you get that broken loose, you can go ahead and take your Serpentine belt off. Take the Serpentine belt off, grab yourself a 15 millimeter wrench, put it on this nut down here, the bolt on the tensioner pulley, pull directly up towards you, take it off the top pulleys here, and then put it back, and then you can just let it hang off the center pulleys on there. And you're ready to take the fan clutch out. I just wanted to show you all how it was coming up out of here. I had to go ahead and take this tensioner pulley off back here. Once you get that out, you can have a little more room to maneuver it out. You have to get one fan blade up over top of this air conditioning hose. Once you get that out, it'll come up until the fan clutch sits beside this housing, plastic housing, and then once you get that around there, you can just kind of lift it and then rotate it around that belt and the hose until it comes all the way out. Alright, now we're going to remove the fan from the fan housing, the clutch assembly. Already took the other three out. These are pretty stubborn, so I have to put a 13mm on it and use a hammer, and once you break it loose, they should just basically screw out by finger. And then the fan's also going to be stuck, so just lift up on it just a little bit and hit the center of it, and it'll pop right off there. Alright, I'm just going to put the fan back on. Just make sure you put it, should be sloped in towards the engine, not down towards the radiator. Okay, when you put it in there, just make sure it's got the slope back towards the engine compartment. Alright, so the new fan clutch is on the old fan. I went ahead and put some Loctite in here. You don't have to, but some of the aftermarket threads can be a little bit loose, so I just want to make sure with any kind of wobble or anything it won't work these loose. So I went ahead and put some on it. You can, if you feel like it, like I did, or if you don't, well, it probably would never hurt anything either way, but I just like to be a little extra safe. If you're replacing your serpentine belt right now, go ahead and put it on now. Don't wait until after you get this back on there to put it back on, because then you'll have to feed it all up and around the back side of this fan to get it on the other side of the fan. So that's just one point I'd like to point out right now. Just if you're replacing the serpentine belt, go ahead and do it now before you reinstall the new clutch. Alright, reinstalling the fan. We've already got our serpentine belt on down there. Let's go ahead and slip her down in there. Gotta get it underneath that. This hose here, slip it around. Should pop in there. Just put it back down in there. Just spin it on. Easier, it's just spin the center one until it lines itself up. There you go. He's on there. And you just have to spin it up tight. Alright, so new fan clutch is installed. All I gotta do is just tighten her up, and it's just the reverse of untightening. Alright, so now you got the fan clutch on. I'm going to have to replace this tensioner pulley down here. And you will have to take this one off to get the fan out if you're coming out this way. I tried the other side first before I came back over this one, and I could not get it to go out. So, I mean, if you want to try it, you can go ahead, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get it out that way. Alright, so once we get this one tightened down, we'll put the belt on, and then we can hammer the main nut on the fan clutch tight and put the belt, check the belt, make sure it's on all the pulleys before you even try to start it, and also make sure, go through and walk the pulleys a little bit, try walking them back and forth or rocking them back and forth just a bit. Make sure there's no play forward and back. The only one that should have any forward and back play is going to be your power steering pump, which is on the other side, and it has to kick in and out when you turn the wheel. So it will have actually play this way, but it shouldn't have any play up and down. Any of them, like the water pump and all that, if it has any play like that in it, then you're going to have to probably replace either the pulley itself or the water pump or whatever it's attached to. Okay. I'm not sure about the torque on these things, so I usually just torque it down until you you barely pull them anymore. One more thing I wanted to note, when you're putting your belt back on, go ahead and feed it up through to the top and leave the idler pulley off. This is going to be one in the very center on the top. Leave it off that one and just pull all the slack down and push it down in there. See where you might be able to see. I've got my hand down in there in the center here. Now I'm pushing down on the belt down in the center, and it's about ready to pop onto the center idler pulley. So once I pull up on the tensioner down here, it should drop over and on, and you're good. It's on. Alright, like I said, just go back through, double check all your pulleys before you even think about cranking it. Alright, so it's all completed. New fan clutch on, new Serpentine Belt, and tensioner and idler pulleys in. So we're basically done with the project. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss future videos on this and other vehicles. Also, on my channel I've got a few tips and a few reviews on tools. So please consider subscribing so maybe it could save you some money in the long end. Alright, so y'all have a good day. Alright, no more squeak, huh? There you go.